In this series, we're going to take a look at loop knots, their application and how to tie them, and we're going to start off with Simon tying the perfection loop.
The following knot was tied in a sample of Rio's 10-pound steelhead salmon tippet material and tested on our Instron machine to illustrate its relative breaking strength.
The perfection loop is a loop that you tie in the end of a bit of line. It can be backing, could be a tippet, could be leader material. Just a way of tying a loop in the end of something. It's one of the more tricky knots to learn, but it's a good knot because it's tidy, it's neat, and it's small. Anyway, let's have a look at how you tie it. Right-handed knot tire, so I'm going to pull my hand down and have about 8 to 9 inches of line hanging out to my right-hand side. At that spot with my left hand, I make a loop like this. And one of the things to remember about the loop is the right and rear. Make sure the tag is to the rear of this main end, pointing to the right for the right-handed tire. It makes it easy to remember how to do it. So make the loop right and rear, and then I slide this knot down to a manageable size. Then I take this long tag end, go around my thumb, pinch it at the back, and then tighten it so that this knot shrinks to about half the size of the top loop. Then you just take the tag end, fold it between, tuck it out your way there, tuck it out your way there, and then simply grab the second loop and pull it through the first loop, like this. At this point, you let the tag end go, and you insert your finger in here or a pair of scissors, get it to a point where it's almost tight. You kind of get this nice little figure of 8 shape on the knot you can see there. Dab it, lick it, whichever, and pull tight. And what's nice about the perfection loop is how you can tell you've done it right is your tag end sticks out at 90 degrees to the standing end here. And it's also just a very nice, neat, small knot. So that is the perfection loop. As I said, it's a relatively hard one, but a very neat knot. It creates a very small knot, strong knot. When you compare it to the finished stuff in 10-pound material, you'll see, again, hard to see, but you'll see it's a very small, neat, tidy knot with that tag pointing out at 90 degrees. So perfection loop, good knot, practice it, becomes an easy one to learn.
On a single Instron test, this knot broke at 10.02 pounds, which equates to 95% of the tensile strength of the nylon it was tied in. The following knot was tied in a sample of Rio's 10-pound steelhead salmon tippet material and tested on our Instron machine to illustrate its relative breaking strength.
The surgeon loop is a knot that ties a loop in the end of your line. Backing, leader, tippet, whatever you like. You can put in 1 turn, make it a single surgeon loop, or you can put in 2 turns, a double surgeon loop. You can put 3 and make a triple surgeon loop. The more turns you put in, the bigger the knot, but the stronger it is. So, how do you tie it? Well, you take your tippet. As a right-handed knot tire, the tag end is pointing to my right, and I like to hold it about 8 to 9 inches from the end, and I just kind of fold the line in half like this and create a loop. And this loop is what's going to be my finished loop knot. Then simply, I kind of tighten those 2 bits here, but keep a nice tight join. I don't want those to be slack like that. Keep a nice tight tension there, and just roll that into a crossed loop like so. And then this loop is going to simply come up to complete an overhand knot. Now if I tighten just that, that is the single surgeon loop, but it's not quite as strong as the double surgeon loop. So I like to come round and add a second turn of that loop through the knot. And that is the double surgeon loop. And as you pull it tight, you'll notice that the line will tighten, the knot will get smaller and smaller, and it'll get to this point where it kind of jumps into a figure of 8. And that figure of 8 is a good point to stop. That's the time to moisten it, or chapstick it, or silicone it, or whatever you like to do. And then you simply lock it with a finger in here, or you can put a pair of scissors in here, or a pen or something in here to grip that knot tight. And just reef down and pull down the 2 ends in the left. Definitely want to make sure you pull the tag end. Don't let the tag end go like this when you're tightening the knot. Otherwise you'll have a couple of loose coils on this side. So it's very important you hold these ends, pull it tight, wipe off the chapstick, and that is the double surgeon loop knot. So that is it in the yellow. In the 10-pound tippet material, always hard to see, but it creates a nice, neat, strong loop knot that you can loop your leader or something to your fly line or your back into your fly line.
On a single Instron test, this knot broke at 8.29 pounds, which equates to 78% of the tensile strength of the nylon it was tied in.
The loop-to-loop join is simply that. It's just a way of joining two loops together. And you can join loops together that you've tied or loops that are in welded fly lines or in leaders and stuff like that. But somehow, when you've got two loops, there's a good way to join them together. And believe it or not, there's a right way and a wrong way. Let's show you the right way first. And the right way, I like to remember the Swedish singing group from the 70s, 80s called ABBA, Dancing Queen, Fernando, all those great hits. And I take the line that's on my rod, the one that's attached to my rod, and I call that A for attached. And the bit I'm joining on, let's call that B for bit. So loop A goes into B. And then you take the end of B, goes into A. AB, BA. And you kind of just pull that one tight. And what happens when you pull this thing down is you get this nice square knot, reef knot kind of look. And that is a correct joined loop to loop. If you do it wrong, instead of doing our little ABBA dancing queen thing, instead of doing A into B and B into A, instead of going that, if you go this way and then take the tag end and fold it through itself, you will find a little catch, kind of here, you get this little catchy thing. But more importantly is that when it tightens, the yellow, in this case, as you can see, is tightening on itself. And that's not good. You can kind of affect this by very simply pushing them together, and with your nail you can fold it over and kind of adjust it, and you can get it to go into that square knot look, that reef knot look. But by doing it the ABBA way, you will always get this correct. So that is the loop-to-loop join in the red and yellow. In tippet, it's going to look like this. Tight, small, neat. And the commonest use of the loop-to-loop join is joining a leader to a fly line. Because most fly lines these days have a welded loop on the front end. So you've got this loop on the front end, you're going off fishing and you buy yourself a pack of leaders. And the leaders nowadays, again, most good leaders have a perfection loop tied in the butt end. And so you want to join these two together. So this is the commonest use of the loop-to-loop join. And again, follow the ABBA system and you'll find it real easy. A, attached, it's attached to my rod, my reel. B, the bit I'm joining. So I take A into B, and then one neat little trick that I like with a leader is rather than kind of find the end of the leader that's blowing away in the wind or getting stuck down there somewhere, quite simply I just fold it around my finger and take that little loop I've just created, poke it through a loop, and then just pull the whole leader through. And then when you tighten it up, give it a little click, and that is the loop-to-loop join, and that is the commonest use, leader to fly line.
The following knot was tied in a sample of Rio's 10-pound steelhead salmon tippet material and tested on our Instron machine to illustrate its relative breaking strength.
This knot is the Bimini twist. The Bimini twist is a fantastic knot if you're creating IGFA class leaders to chase records, or if you're looking to make a 100% connection throughout your leader system. To start the knot, I'm using a 20-pound piece of hard mono here, and I'm going to overlap by about almost 2 feet. I'm going to run that a doubled over loop down by about 1 foot, and I'm going to start twisting this with my right hand, and I'm going to put about 20 to 25 twists in here. Some sort of odd number is best when making the twists. At least that's what I've been told over the years. As soon as I get close to my number, I'm about 21, 22, 23 twists right here. I'm going to hook that, secure it to the hook that I've got right here, kind of run this up so I can get it right out in front of me and work with the knot. I'm going to pinch down between my thumb and forefinger between the tag end and the leader end here. I'm going to go in at the top of the loop and I'm going to compress the twists. And the twists are going to want to back on themselves, and that's a good thing because I'm going to start to feed the tag end down and it's going to wind back on itself, forming the Bimini twist, and I'm going to run that all the way down to the end. Let that tension off my leader end kind of disperse. I'm going to pinch that and control it with my left hand now. I'm going to take my tag end and go on the inside leg, the leg that's facing me, and tie a half hitch to secure it. Then I'm going to take the tag end around both legs, secure it. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Total of 3 half hitches. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to do 4 turns. And then I'm going to run the slack out of the knot till I get a very nice small profile. Moisten that so it comes down nice and easy. And I'm left with this tag end to trim. I like to leave that about 1/4 of an inch long. And that is the finished Bimini twist.
On a single Instron test, this knot broke at 10.72 pounds, which equates to 100% of the tensile strength of the nylon it was tied in. Rio. Make the connection.